Welcome, I'm Melinda Kanami. Tonight, APC suspends Ekiti State governorship primary after thugs invaded the election venue in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital. World Congresses of the All Progressive Congress end in chaos in many parts of the country as President Muhammadu Buhari calls for calm in the party. Leaders of the opposition People's Democratic Party vow to win Osun and Ekiti State's governorship elections as they storm Osogbo for the Southwest Zonal Rally. And 16 people killed as Pakistan coal mine collapses following a gas explosion.
On business news tonight, federal government investors project sideways trading on equities market as market awaits catalysts for investments.
On sports news tonight, Stoke City drop out of the English Premier League after 2-1 loss to Crystal Palace.
We begin tonight from Ekiti State, southwest Nigeria, where violence has marred the conduct of the All Progressive Congress governorship primary election today. The voting process, which started peacefully, ended in crisis after hoodlums stormed the venue and snatched all the ballot boxes. The election is now inconclusive, while the party is without a governorship candidate ahead of the July governorship election.
The day begins with the delegates arriving the Oluyemi Kayode Stadium in Ado-Ekiti for the much-anticipated APC primary election ahead of the July the 14th polls. Delegates are first accredited and screened by security operatives before they are allowed into the stadium. The chairman of the Electoral Committee, who is also the governor of Nasarawa State, Tanko Almakura, is one of the early comers, and then the candidates arrive one after the other, exchanging pleasantries. But the conviviality that greeted the arrival is soon cut short, moments after the voting proper began. Hoodlums stormed the venue from nowhere, picking the ballot boxes and smashing them, while security operatives were only able to do little to stop them. The aspirants and delegates are left with no option than to walk out of the venue.
My comment will be that you should wait for further instructions from the chairman of the panel.
It is uncalled for aspirants to sponsor talks into the venue of an election.
Others trade blames and can only wait for the chairman of the Electoral Committee to take a decision on whether to fix a new date for the election.
Everything started all right because we started the whole thing all right. Governor Makara did everything that he had to do, even though the rain came and all that. But you see, we have 33 aspirants. We have 33 aspirants juggling for that position. But there is a particular aspirant that is a problem. And that is what has led to this mayhem that happened here.
2 ex-governors of the state, Kayode Fayemi and Segun Oni, and 3 former lawmakers are part of the 33 contenders for the governorship seat. But as it stands, the All Progressives Congress does not have a candidate yet for the July the 14th polls and may probably have to do more to put its house in order first before facing candidates of other political parties.
Staying with APC politics, the party has held its ward congresses nationwide in over 9,500 electoral wards. It's expected to set the stage for those at the local government level, the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Delegates that emerge from the ward level will determine those who will take part at the local government, the state level, and those that will go to the National Convention, where members of the National Working Committee of the party would emerge. Meanwhile, in Delta State, the APC World Congress has been marred by chaos in Ughelli South local government area following the murder of a world chairmanship aspirant, allegedly by another member of the party. The State Police Public Relations Officer, Andrew Anyamaka, told Channels Television that calm has returned to the area while police officers are on the trail of the murderer.
The ongoing APC World Congress at Okwabi. Okwabi is in Otuja in the area of the state. One Jeremiah Jacob from Okwabi was stabbed to death, allegedly by 130 people. We do not know the motive behind this yet until we've been able to apprehend 30 people, or perhaps their witnesses who were there, who will be in a better position to explain to us what actually happened. I have not got the details, and I can only speak when I have the details. Immediately, your call came, I had to put a call across to the DP of the division, who affirmed that such a thing happened, that the investigation is on as we speak. Eventually, yes, we'll get the fleeing suspect.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari is asking his party members not to throw caution to the wind and remain orderly and calm amidst the APC congresses which are taking place across the country. He made the appeal at the Sakinyara A ward after the conclusion of the World Congress, which returned the incumbent chairman Aliyu Mani and 25 other officials. They were unopposed following a consensus reached under a voice voting system facilitated by the ward's Elders Forum.
I would like us to be orderly, to be loyal to the party, as this team has been for the last 4 years. And I hope they will keep alert, keep themselves informed what is happening in the country, and make their contributions at every level. And I hope throughout the country, the party has been able to organize it in such a way, and it has been so successful.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari. In the meantime, in Adamawa State, the Congress Committee has postponed the exercise till tomorrow, that's Sunday, May the 6th. The committee chairman explains that it will provide equal opportunity for all members of the party interested in picking nomination forms to do so and return to their wards for the exercise. This announcement came after the Congress degenerated into a chaotic situation when some top party members were denied nomination forms. Members were asked to provide evidence of payment for each person within the group, as no form will be sold in bulk. This development almost turned the Secretariat into a rowdy session. And let's take a further look at what transpired in the Ekiti governorship primary, as well as the party's ward congresses, as the APC ward congresses across the country. And joining me to discuss this is a senior lecturer in political science at the University of Lagos, Dr. Kayode Ishola. You're welcome to the News at 10.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's begin from the Ekiti governorship primary. With the way things turned out today, how do you see the issue being resolved at the end of the day?
Well, you don't know how politicians resolve their issues, but what is clear, and very clear, is that there's no synergy of worldview among those who are involved in the contest, and whichever way it is going to be resolved will further buttress the point that I've just made, as it case may be. And if you look at it holistically, what you see is that since 2015, nothing really has changed in Nigeria in terms of politics of desperation, politics of anxiety. And these are the things that you will observe in what happens at Ekiti and virtually all parts of the country, or your states and everywhere, where you see violence marring the election.
Yeah, the APC congresses.
Yes, at the congresses. What is clear is that most members of the party, APC, are highly frustrated. And behaviorally speaking, when you are frustrated politically in that context, two things are possible for you to do. One is that you start moving from one point to the other, what I call, pillar to post probabilistic politicking. So you move from APC to PDP, PDP back to APC, seeking political opportunity so that you can grab political power. If you don't do that, you remain at the same point and you get desperate. That desperation manifests in spending money at all costs to ensure that delegates pick you, ensuring that when your opponent is winning the race, you bring in people to scatter the thing, or you may even decide to scatter it by yourself to make certain points. You never can tell what politicians will do, but what is clear is that there is desperation, and this desperation has been manifesting in these two ways all over the country.
But Dr. Ishola, are you worried with the way things turned out today, especially with the APC congresses?
Well, I'm not a member of APC, so I'm not worried with APC. What I may be worried about, or I should be worried about, is the implication for our political system. And what it implies simply is that nothing, absolutely nothing, has changed. In fact, instead of change, we have been perambulating and things are aggravating for this country. If in 2018, some months to election, this is what we can see at this level, then it spells doom. It promises us that something more dangerous is likely to come ahead. High level of desperation, I'm afraid. That's worrisome.
So do you think the APC wouldn't have rocked the boat by changing the current leadership? Should they have stuck to the current leadership? Well,
in terms of idea, what the APC has done is good. I think the idea is to test the ground to know how popular you are, who is for us, who is not for us, who is against us, and who is trying to forge ideological similarity with the party called APC. So in terms of idea, what the party has done is good. But the way it is manifesting tells us that they did not do their calculations and permutations very well to know that there's no internal cohesion within the party. And then when you don't have internal cohesion, you don't have synergy of worldview, you go into the public to test things like this, you end up disgracing yourself.
I'm coming so close to the elections. 2019 is just around the corner.
Yeah, for the election, as I said, it tells us that we are not likely, if we continue this way, to have a very good election in 2019. That's what it implies, very simply. Election is one thing, democracy is another thing. If you look at the implication for our democracy, and as it is happening almost all over the world, ideology is fading out. In Europe, in America, in parts of Africa. I mean, a few days ago, you saw what happened in Armenia, beyond political conventions, beyond regular structures of politics, the people massively came out and said, this is the way it should go. If APC continues this way, and PDP is not much better than it is at the moment, what you are likely to see in 2019 is what I will call popular revolt of the people. Okay, you want to say
Yes,
something?
I wanted to talk about the security implications because we're running out of time, so I just want to chip this in.
Okay.
Now, the security operatives were there at all the APC governorship primary today and the congresses which took place across the country, but they appeared to be overwhelmed.
Well, you see, only a security analyst will give you the psychosomatic dimension to the situation, but what I saw as a layman in security analysis is that there seems to be conspiracy of certain level. How it came, I don't know. Whether it is real, I don't know. My word is seem. Okay. There seems to be, and that is what I can say. The security agents are not divorced from the totality of the political system. They are representing the Nigerian people whose interests are divided, and so it's not unlikely that they also will have been compromised in one way or the other, which will lead to what you may want to call conspiracy that are identified.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kayode Inshola, for speaking with us on the News at 10.
Thank you very much.
In part 2 after the break, Kano State begins project to flood state with CCTV cameras as part of measures to tackle insecurity. Please stay with us for the details.